Garzafirian Caxtal adjusted his crystalline viewing apparatus and suppressed what his species considered the equivalent of a snort. The human specimen before him, a female called Sarah Chen, sat patiently in the bioscanner, her primitive, bipedal form looking laughably fragile compared to the sleek, six-limbed elegance of his own crystalline physiology. Fascinating, he muttered to his colleague, Dr. Vorthak, whose gaseous form shimmered with amusement. Look at this cardiovascular system, a single heart. And these, what do they call them? Lungs. Only 2 air processing organs, and they're not even redundant systems. The Galactic Scientific Consortium had been studying the newly discovered human species for 3 rotations now, ever since their crude chemical rockets had somehow stumbled into Terran space. The humans claimed to come from a planet they called Earth, a death world by any civilized standard, with crushing gravity, violent weather systems, and an atmosphere so corrosive it would dissolve most known life forms within minutes. Their skeletal structure is particularly amusing, Dr. Caxtal continued, highlighting the human's internal framework on his display. Calcium carbonate, the same material primitive shellfish use for protection. And observe how their skin provides virtually no natural armor. A single puncture could prove fatal. Sarah Chen, understanding their language through the universal translator, smiled politely. Doctor, if I may ask, what makes your species so much more robust? Dr. Vorthak's gaseous form rippled with what passed for laughter among his people. Child, my species evolved in the methane storms of Kepler 442b. We can survive temperatures that would instantly vaporize your fragile water-based biology. Dr. Caxtal's people are living crystal matrices. They can exist in the vacuum of space itself. And yet, Dr. Caxtal added with academic smugness, your species somehow managed to develop faster than light travel, a remarkable achievement for such limited biology. The human nodded thoughtfully. Speaking of limited biology, I noticed your consortium has several planets listed as uninhabitable in your database. Perhaps we could discuss a colonization agreement? Dr. Caxtal's crystalline structure flickered with what might have been surprise. Colonization? Human. These are death worlds. Planets so hostile that even our most advanced terraforming technology cannot make them livable. We're talking about worlds with gravity wells that would crush your brittle bones, atmospheres of pure sulfuric acid, radiation levels that would cook your cellular structure in seconds. Which planet specifically? Sarah asked, pulling out a primitive data tablet. Well, there's Kepler 1649c, surface temperature of 800 degrees Celsius, atmosphere of concentrated sulfur compounds, gravity 3 times what you experience on your homeworld. Sounds like Venus. We've been planning colonies there for decades. Dr. Vorthak's form solidified slightly in shock. Impossible. What about Proxima Centauri b? Constant stellar radiation, no magnetic field, temperature swings of 200 degrees between day and night cycles. Mars-like conditions, but easier. We've had people living in similar environments for years. Dr. Caxtal frantically scrolled through his database. HD 4307G, gravity 7 times Earth normal, crushing atmospheric pressure, perpetual storm. Systems with wind speeds exceeding 500 kilometers per hour. Sarah consulted her tablet. Our people have been living in deep ocean trenches with similar pressure for research purposes. As for the storms, we've survived hurricanes, tornadoes, and blizzards for millennia. Wind is just wind. The 2 alien scientists exchanged what could only be described as worried glances, despite their vastly different biologies. Perhaps, Dr. Vorthak suggested carefully, we could interest you in some of our more accommodating worlds. We have several garden planets with controlled climates, gentle gravity, and perfectly balanced atmospheric conditions. Sarah shook her head. Those sound boring. What about the really challenging ones? The planets you've marked as absolutely uninhabitable. Dr. Caxtal's crystalline form began to dim, a sign of deep distress among his species. Human Sarah, those designations exist for good reason. Take Wolf 359b. It's a tidally locked world with one side in perpetual freezing darkness and the other in burning daylight. The transition zone experiences constant seismic activity. So, stable temperatures on each side and geothermal energy at the borders sounds perfect for our mining operations. What about the radiation? We evolved under a star that bombards us with radiation daily. We call it sunbathing and do it for recreation. Dr. Vorthak was now cycling through colors that indicated extreme agitation. The seismic activity would level any structures you build. We build cities directly on fault lines back home. Earthquakes just mean free urban renewal. For the first time since the evaluation began, silence fell over the laboratory. Dr. Caxtall slowly reviewed the data from Sarah's biological scans, his advanced mind beginning to piece together a terrifying picture. "Dr. Vorthak," he whispered, his voice taking on a tone of dawning horror. "Look at their evolutionary markers. This species didn't just survive on a death world, they thrived on it. Every system in their biology is designed for crisis management. Their cardiovascular redundancy," Dr. Vorthak realized, his gaseous form now pulsing with alarmed colors. "It's not primitive. It's a backup system for when their primary heart is damaged. And their pain response network," Dr. Caxtall continued. "It's not a design flaw, it's a tactical advantage. They can function with significant physical damage." Sarah stood up, stretching in a way that made both scientists flinch. "Gentlemen, I think we have a deal. You give us colonization rights to your death worlds and we'll pay standard galactic rates for the privilege." But why would you want those planets?" Dr. Vorthak asked weakly. Sarah smiled. And for the first time, both scientists noticed how many sharp teeth humans possessed. Because doctors, they remind us of home. As Sarah left the laboratory, Dr. Caxtall turned to his colleague with a newfound sense of cosmic dread. "Vorthak, I believe we may have just met the galaxy's apex survivors." "Indeed," his colleague replied, watching the human's confident stride with something approaching awe. "And I have the disturbing suspicion that we've been living in the galaxy's safe zones all along." Within a standard year, human colonies were thriving on 17 worlds previously considered uninhabitable. The Galactic Scientific Consortium quietly reclassified their databases, replacing Death World with a new designation, Human Compatible. They never made the mistake of underestimating human biology again.